Hello everybody, welcome to this playthrough for Expert Division with the tournament win here for the Redwood Cup Tournament in Golf Clash the game. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content for free. You can also get the best guides on the market by getting our summer special. Link to the summer special on Patreon is directly in the description down below, patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Also, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Can we hit 100 thumbs up on this video? That would be absolutely insane. Thank you so much if you do that. Follow the info box on the right hand side for the elevation adjustment for the drive, for the second shot, and also for what type of ball and clubs that I do feel is going to be the best ones to play with. Have in mind though, you don't have to follow anything that I do say. You can go complete your own way. This is a guide, and I have a thought behind everything that I do display and show in this playthrough that should be helpful when it comes to the tournament. In the end though, I care about how it goes for you. If you do win gold by doing your own adjustment, then fine, I'm gonna be super happy for you. So in the end though, if you do have any comments or questions about the content here, then you can either email support@golfclashtommy.com or make a comment in the comment section below. But enough talk about that, and let's go to hole number one. For hole number one, we can play two ways. We can play left, we can play right, and I'm going to show you both. Here, we're going to start by going right side. Very, very simple drive. 3 bars of side spin to the left, and I'm using 4.5 bar of top spin. And now I'm looking to start. As you can see, I'm almost kind of boxing in my extra mile here a little bit, using the blue ring as reference on all the rough corners, as you can see. Have in mind that this is with extra mile level 8, so it does not really apply on every club, but really have the plus yardage as a starting point. +1 is a very good reference to use. So, maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. We are going to bounce over the water, trying to gain a distance that's going to be in somewhere around the maximum distance. A short iron is going to be at least close to that. We rather want to have that than we do want to be in the minimum distance. Long iron, 345 yards. From 345 yards, have in mind first and foremost that yardage is not really anything to rely on here, as we're not playing a linear way here, and therefore gonna be an issue. So you're gonna have to estimate your club distance, and here I estimate this club distance to be more or less close to 80%. And a red ring by the top of the rough, and then I apply spin to pin. I'm always going to keep my red ring by the edge of the rough and then spin to pin. And that is with a thorn level 9. Those of you having a lower level thorn, or hornet for that matter, and don't have the ball guideline that is at least 4.2, then or like 4.1, then I would recommend you to don't go with spin to pin, leave it a little short. 15% over adjustment is what we're gonna go for here on hole number one from the right side, and we'll get this one in on the left side of the cup, but nice one for an eagle. So if we're going to go left side, I would recommend to play with a maxed out quarterback or the rock. And the reason I would like you to play with those either one type of club is due to the accuracy and ball guideline. It will help you tremendously if you do hit a great ball, because here, if you do play with a lower accuracy club, like a lower level extra mile for an example, a bad great ball could potentially clip the rough on the other, or like rolling into the rough on the other side. Maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. So even though we're not in maximum distance, we're still going to adjust for maximum distance numbers. And as said, 20%. And the thing that we're looking for the ball to bounce over the rough and the sand, as you could see by our aiming point, and then get up to a nice yardage. And the yardage that we're looking for is going to be a yardage around 320 yards. 320 yards equals 76 on the slider. So 76 with a 10% over adjustment, because now we're going to play the rough bump. The problem we do have here with the rough bump, ladies and gentlemen, is that I'm not following the slider adjustment, because I'm actually adding a much higher slider percentage. I'm playing this one very close to 90% slider, and you're gonna notice that I will miss right side cup. So after doing some, checking and testing and stuff, 76% slider from 320 yards with a 20% over adjustment. I'm using the runner for the rough bump to make sure that, you know, we can play it in a general way. Because we're playing with 5 top spin and we're playing with 3 bars of left spin, and even if you do have a lower level Hornet, you will not be having the 5 bars of top spin, even though most of you most likely have. But to play with the runner, then we can play a very consistent way, as many of the players, you guys that you are watching, do have the runner level 9 or level 10 for the rough bump. Blue ring by the rough line all the time to keep the same type of aiming point. And once again, as said, from 320, we play 76% slider, and then we're going to be very close, if not giving it in for an eagle. You may be wondering, what option would I play? I would go left side. Even though I dropped the one on the right side, I will go left side due to the fact that we can play with yardage notes in a better way. When we play left, we play the hole as a linear, which means that we then can rely on the yardage nodes. On the right side, we need to find a different reference or have to guesstimate what type of adjustment we need to do. And therefore, if you know, for a long-term and better working adjustment, then we're gonna play left-hand side, in my opinion. For hole number 2, I'm going to show you a sniper shot here. I'm not going to go into the rough bump as that has been a bit wind angle dependent, but I'm working on a specific rough bump with the quarterback that I will get back to later on this tournament. 1 bar of side spin to the right and 2.8 bars of top spin. And then we're going to apply the position as following. You see the second bounce, it's approximately 1.5 ring from the rough, but more importantly, the third bounce should be in between the bright and the dark green square row by the green. Once you find that spot, which is a little iffy, but this is a tough hole, then you adjust medium distance with a 20% over adjustment and try to hit perfect. You can see that the ball bounces and it bounces and it bounces and it bounces, a lot of bounces, and comes in very, very close to pin. You could play with a Centurion or a Superstar ball, or, you know, a vintage ball. There is plenty of other type of balls that do have at least side spin 1 and wind 4 power 3. Use one of those to reduce the wind if you do want to. But the thing that we'll have to have in mind with this sniper shot is that the position is very hard to replicate, and that's why a rough bump is definitely very interesting. But as we adjust from a lower to a higher point, it is very easy to miss the rough, and there needs to be some technicalities made by that type of rough bump to be able to get that one to fit. But I will get there, that's for sure. But in the meantime, we go with the sniper shot, which is also a good one here for hole number 2. For hole number 3, we're going to go full blast. Max top spin and as much side spin to the right possible. And in this case, 5.8 bars top spin and 2 bars side spin to the right. Then we stretch out so we can visualize the ball guideline coming over on the other side. We do want it to be more centered instead of having it as we have now. Now we are a bit too much to the left, in my opinion. Maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. We push up to max and then we try to hit perfect. Dead on perfect, but here you can also see that we are aiming a little bit too much to the left, and we have, you know, no issues here with the ball hitting the fairway and getting over the rough. If you do have a wind that is below 10 miles per hour, I would strongly recommend you to play with any type of ball that do have wind resistance 0, like a ghost ball, snow globe, or something like that. Why? It's because if we do have wind below 10 and only have 5.8 bars topspin, we're gonna see ourselves being very close to clipping the rough, and also then having trees in our face when trying to shoot the second shot, and then the albatross attempt is basically gone. Sure, those of you playing with Apocalypse level 6, 7, 8, you guys can basically do what freaking ever, yeah, with a berserker ball. Then you can keep yourself with that, or maybe play with a stealth ball or something like that. But those of us playing with a POC 5 or below, or like a Thor's Hammer 5 or below, extra mile level 8 and below, then we play with that type of structure that we do want to have wind above 10, otherwise we change ball. Second shot, we're gonna play almost a dead-on straight tailwind shot towards the pin here, which is obviously very nice. 5.2 backspin, 1 bar of side spin to the right. Here, for those of you playing with the B52 level 7 plus, use that club instead. But the reason I do not suggest the Grizzly here is because the Grizzly would have been giving us in between club situation here, and I don't want to gamble with that, and that's why I'd rather go Goliath instead of the Grizzly, even though the ball guideline with the Grizzly level 7 plus is superior the ball guideline with Goliath level 9. 10% over adjustment, maximum distance numbers, and you're gonna see here that we get this one fairly close. And in the end though, if we are, you know, spot on with our position with the ball guideline, I'm not ruling out that we're gonna see this one drop for an albatross or two, which I did see as on the start of the tournament as pretty difficult, especially if we wouldn't be having tailwind. But now we can cross over the water, take advantage of that, and give yourself a good chance for an albatross and put yourself in a nice tiebreaker position. For hole number 4, we are going to first give props to Golf Clash India that has uploaded a similar type of shot which I've influenced my adjustment from. Medium distance, 20% over adjustment, but we start with 2 bars of side spin to the left with 0.1 top spin. Red ring by the bunker line, and then we're going to try to catch the funnel that is very close to the rough on the right. Ball guideline to the hole, and you can see that the ball guideline goes very short. Once it's time to adjust, we do want to play with in some sort an 11.59 here. We do not want to have it pointed 12.01 as we do want to pull ourselves a little bit further back, as I do believe we come very close to the bunker here now after taking the shot. Also, that if we are a bit further back, we will prevent ourselves from getting this little glitch here that comes there. And even if we get the glitch or not, you will still get the ball to roll towards the pin in a nice speed. Once again, 20% over adjustment, medium distance. We have a Kingmaker or a Centurion or any other type of ball that you have at least wind resistance 3, side spin 2, and power 3. For hole number 5, we are going for green. Use the club that do give you the most power as possible. 6 bars of topspin, or to be more correct, 5.8 with the Apocalypse level 5, and then 2 bars of side spin to the right. You can see that I'm aiming very close to the tree, but don't be afraid about that because that's not going to be any issues whatsoever. I move myself at least a little bit more to the left, which gives me approximately 1 ring from the tree out to, you know, where the ball guideline is, and that's the spot that we're going to try to mirror. Adjust maximum distance with a -15. Yes, -15 is the correct adjustment here, and then obviously we're gonna try to hit perfect. Unfortunately, a great ball here to the left, but at the same time we still get this ball down to green. You may be wondering why -15. It's actually a little funny story, as once I did stream and took this shot, I was looking at maximum distance with no elevation, but I was looking at Thor's hammer instead, level 6, which obviously was wrong, but it worked beautifully. So then obviously we keep it, because why change if something worked? It doesn't matter how weird it is, we're still gonna go for it. Those of you playing with an Apocalypse lower than level 5, Apocalypse level 4, or even an Extra Mile level 8 or even 7 for that matter, I would recommend to go with a Ghost Ball or a Snow Globe Ball to give yourself a bit more wind so you have more carry, so you're not going to have any issues when it comes to reaching towards the green. If you don't reach the green, you're most likely gonna stay very short on green, or you're gonna roll a little bit long into the fringe on the back, and then you have a simple wedge. Also, you need to have in mind, you know, the risks that you're taking here is obviously that we get some type of glitch roll or getting a massive first bounce and that we end up into the rough someplace. But this opportunity to get the ball to green is too good to not give it a go. For hole number 6, we are going to go straight up the fairway on the left, and we're going to play with a 20% over adjustment. And here I will show you 2 types of approaches, one that is up to the left for a very simple and safe eagle, and one to the right that is a bit more aggressive, where I do believe we're gonna have a better chance for the albatross. I'm using 5 bars of top spin, and I'm using as much side spin to the right possible. We're looking for to getting the ball up to the top right corner. and we're going to adjust once again maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. If you go into overpower, do adapt and use a little bit of overpower here for your shot. And don't forget to check so you do have the correct bag. That is very important. Now, when you have a little bit of headwind, I would advise you to play with the Cataclysm or the Big Dog. That gives you a little bit more distance, because honestly, playing here up to the left and then playing down to the green, we are only looking for the eagle. We're not looking for an albatross, as we cannot aim directly at the pin. So therefore, it would be my advice to keep one of those type of clubs that you do have the distance. So if you do make a bad drive, you're not gonna struggle with reaching to getting over the rough. Now we're gonna play this one with 3.5 bar topspin. You can play somewhere between 3 to 4 bars of topspin. Max side spin to the right, which is 3 bars. Adjustment, maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. And then I'm going to apply all but half a ball of curl in maximum. And those of you playing with a Cataclysm level 5 or below, I would recommend to go with maximum curl. But the reason I take off a little curl here with Cataclysm level 7 is because I do have 100% in curl, or at least very close to maximum with the Cataclysm, and therefore I won't use that maximum, because then I will drop down into the sand. But this is the safe way to get an eagle. Now let's take a look at the albatross attempt. Going to the right side, we're going to start with the quarterback here. The rock is not a bad club, especially if you do have it in level 8+. We do want to have the 5 bars of topspin, and here I'm using +4 as a starting point, with the tip of the ball guide, or like the second bounce, to be just by the cutoff between the end of the rough and the fairway. Maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. Power 4 ball is what I'm gonna do, and for the spin's sake, max top spin and as much side spin to the right possible. I'm using half a ball of curl here, but I would strongly advise you to use even more. I would use 3/4 of a ball to the right, because we do want to push this ball to have the second bounce into the rough more to the right, because more to the right means that we're then gonna be further away from the trees that you can see there straight forward, and also is going to make us be closer towards the pin. Second shot, we are going to be able to aim for the pin here. I'm using 2 bars side spin left, and also using a little bit more than 1 bar of backspin, aiming directly at pin. Now we come into the problem where we use, in my opinion, a little bit too little curl. Because look here now what's happening. When I'm adjusting with my sniper, and you can see that the ball guideline gets clipped off basically almost directly. And that's some scary stuff, because that means that if we are not getting the help from the wind here, being pushed to the right, then the ball will hit the tree. And look that we are very, very close. It almost seems like we go through the tree, to be honest. So that's why it's so important for you to make sure that you get more to the right, to get yourself a more open spot when it comes to getting that shot towards the pin. That is at least my tip here for hole number 6, if we're gonna go for the albatross. But I do believe that this is going to be a difficult one to get an albatross on, so really think twice before you're deciding what route, because we should never find ourselves playing a route that could at least cost us the eagle. For hole number 7, we are going to bounce over the rough instead of trying to get directly over. The reason for that is the tree on the right, which would put ourselves in a very tough spot and gonna have to go with a lot of curl. And that's why going for green is not the first option here, which I see gonna be very, very risky. 6 bars of topspin and then as much side spin to the right possible. I leave myself with a blue ring by the top, like the start of the rough at the top. And then we're gonna adjust minimum distance with a 20% over adjustment. And then we look for the ball to have this amount of curl. The left edge of the ball to be at the inner side of the ring, as in terms of reference. We take the shot with that type of curl, and we're gonna give ourselves a distance gonna be somewhere between 335 to 340. If getting to 340, then the adjustment I would like you to do is going to be 98% slider with a 20% over adjustment. So 339 yards is gonna be maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. It's what we're gonna go for. 1 bar of backspin. You can see that the bunker is slightly showing you know, in the transparent ring. Ball guideline to the hole, and here is where we're going to adjust with a 20% over adjustment, maximum distance numbers from 339. In this spot especially, as you can see that I've changed the account on the top because it's a different second shot, then, you know, it doesn't attach together with the drive because that was from T-Rocks. Then in the end here I do play with a maximum distance with a 15% over adjustment, and I need that extra decimal and 2 to get that ball in the hole. So 339, we go in maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment, and then we adjust for slider based on that. Centurion, Kingmaker, you know, doesn't really matter. Power 3 ball is what I'm looking for here on hole 7, and this one needs to drop if we're gonna have anything to do on winning this tournament. For the last of the par 3s, I'm going to play with a power 1, win 5, side spin 3 ball, but you don't need any more than side spin 1 to be perfectly clear. Reason I play with a power 1 ball is because I do want to get myself into absolute minimum distance, and we're going to try to catch this little sticky spot that is just there bouncing up towards spin. You can wiggle a little bit back and forth and you will notice what I refer to. I do want us to find the ball guideline on the left side of the pin, just left side of the pin, while being in complete minimum distance. Now in this example here on the video, I do adjust for a minimum distance with a 25% over adjustment. I would like us to change to a 20 instead, and the reason for that is what happens here. You see that we are very close to the edge of the cup there. We don't get the zoom in, but we are close. So we do that little deduction of rings to get ourselves perfect there with this adjustment. So minimum distance, 20% over adjustment, and then we play 4 backspin, 1 bar of left spin, very simple spin adjustment, and then we're looking, you can see we're looking for the ball guideline to be just outside the cup to the left based on looking at it from the tee. And then once again here in this example I do adjust minimum distance plus 25, and that's the reason why we do miss right, because we do over adjust our shot. So in the end, really pay attention to that minimum distance plus 20 and use any of the wind resistant balls here. Can you play with any other type of ball? Yes, you can. But once again, the beauty with this type of approach is that we can keep ourselves in minimum distance and really don't have to change anything from there, and therefore have a more clear and consistent landing spot. For hole number 9, we're going to start by playing with the quarterback and an athlete ball, which is a power 4, side spin 2, wind 3. And the power 4 is not so necessary for the drive, but it is going to be pretty helpful when it comes to the second shot. But we're going to get there in just a bit. 2.5 bar top spin and 2 bars of side spin to the left. And for those that, you know, are paying attention, you can see that this is a replay and it does sometimes not show the correct plus yardage. So here we are in plus 12. Have that in mind, okay? So plus 12 is where we're starting at. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and then we're going to go full curl to the left with the quarterback. Unfortunately, I do hit great right, which obviously is never going to be helpful, especially when we do want to get more to the left. So a great left would be better than a great right. We have no issues in staying away from the rough and such, but obviously it's a bit scary when it comes to hitting a great ball to the right. Now, second shot, we're gonna be in absolute maximum distance. So once again, the plus yardage are fooling us. I'm using 2 bars of top spin and then 2 bars of side spin to the right. You can see that I leave the ball guideline short, but pointing towards the pin. And the thing that I'm gonna do here is that I'm going to adjust for maximum distance with a 5% over adjustment, but I'm gonna add one more ingredient to it. And that is, once I do adjust, I adjust from a lower to a higher point. So then I need to pull back, and I do pull back 2 complete rings. So not 1, not 1.5, 2 complete rings to compensate for adjusting from a lower point to a higher point, which means in the game of Golf Clash that we are gaining distance. The ball bounces very nicely in the rough, exactly where we planned, and then the ball rolls very nicely, and we get this one in for an albatross on hole 9. Hole 9 albatross will be rare And especially when it is a very technical adjustment, but it feels extremely nice to get one of these to drop here in Expert for an Albi. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Expert Division here in the Redwood Cup Tournament and the Sequoia Creek. Thank you so much for watching. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Make sure to get our summer special on Patreon. Best guides on the market. Link to patreon.com/golfclashtommy is in the description down below. Also, don't forget to comment if you do have any questions. You can also email support@golfclashtommy.com. Much love to you all and good luck in the Redwood Cup Tournament.